They don't need to lock you in a cell anymore, because you've been trained to carry the prison with you. It's no longer a place of iron bars and stone walls. It's a psychological cage woven into the fabric of your daily existence. The prison lives in your pocket, humming with notifications, feeding you curated illusions of connection and urgency. It lingers in your thoughts, shaping your fears and desires without you ever realizing it. It thrives in the quiet little compromises you make every day. The extra scroll through social media when you meant to work. The quick indulgence in outrage bait disguised as news. The surrender of solitude for the numbing glow of a screen. These are not accidents. They are the architecture of modern confinement. The most dangerous form of control is the one that doesn't feel like control at all. History has shown us that tyranny evolves, from the brute force of kings and dictators to the soft, algorithmic governance of today. The Roman Empire kept its subjects in line with bread and circuses. The medieval church wielded fear and salvation. Industrial age factory owners disciplined workers with clocks and schedules. Now, corporations and platforms condition us with dopamine hits and infinite distraction. The methods change, but the goal remains the same: compliance. And that's exactly what they've built. A system so seamless, so seductive, that you don't even recognize the bars around you. This is not a conspiracy. It doesn't require shadowy figures in backrooms plotting in secret. This is business. Highly profitable business. In the 19th century, factory owners realized that exhausted workers were easier to control. In the 20th century, advertisers discovered that insecurities could be manufactured and then sold back as solutions. Now in the 21st century, attention itself is the most valuable commodity. Every second of your focus is auctioned off to the highest bidder. Your outrage is monetized, engineered to keep you engaged, to keep you clicking. Your boredom is exploited, filled with endless streams of trivial content, so you never have to sit with your own thoughts. Your fears are studied, packaged, and sold back to you, wrapped in convenience, laced with entertainment, and designed to keep you coming back for more. You are not the customer. You are the product. Or more precisely, your time, your thoughts, your behavior, your data. The longer you stay distracted, the more predictable you become. And the more predictable you become, the easier it is to sell you what they want. Not just shoes and gadgets, but ideologies, desires, beliefs, a curated identity designed for consumption. In the 1920s, Edward Bernays, the father of modern propaganda, realized that democracy could be manipulated, not through force, but through psychological persuasion. He sold cigarettes to women by linking them to feminism. He convinced the public that bacon was the all-American breakfast. Today, the same principles are used to shape political views, social norms, and even your sense of self. They don't need to control what you think, only the environment in which you think. They don't care what you believe, as long as you're too tired, too entertained, or too numb to act on it. The Roman poet Juvenal lamented how the masses could be pacified with bread and circuses. Today, the circus is digital, endless, and personalized. The bread is the illusion of choice. Dozens of nearly identical products, nearly identical politicians, nearly identical lifestyles, all giving the impression of freedom, while keeping you neatly within the boundaries of what's profitable. You were not made to be a passive participant in your own life. But the system prefers you that way, docile, overstimulated, and perpetually unsatisfied, always searching, never finding, always scrolling, never arriving. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once wrote, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." Today we are engineered to avoid that silence at all costs. The moment you reach for your phone to escape a moment of boredom, the moment you reflexively open an app instead of facing an uncomfortable thought, that is the system working as intended. So ask yourself, who profits from your endless distraction? Who gains when you no longer question the script? In 1984, George Orwell imagined a future where truth was violently erased and freedom was crushed under a boot. But Aldous Huxley, in Brave New World, exposed a subtler, more insidious version of control. One that doesn't require force, but rather pleasure and distraction. Huxley didn't imagine a world where people would be forced into submission. He saw a world where they were seduced into it. In a society of perfect comfort, where every desire is catered to and every yearning satisfied instantly, why would anyone question anything? Huxley wrote, "People are happy, they get what they want, and they never want what they can't have." In this perfect world of passive indulgence, comfort becomes a cage. People don't rebel because they no longer care. They've forgotten what it means to want something deeper, something true. The danger isn't in physical oppression, it's in the slow, comfortable erosion of desire and curiosity. We no longer seek freedom because we no longer know we are chained. But if Huxley laid out the landscape of sedated submission, Orwell's 1984 described the brutal, terrifying form of control that takes place when systems strip away truth itself. Orwell's world is one where every action, thought, and even emotion is policed and repressed by the party. He wrote, "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength." Here, Orwell introduced the concept of doublethink, the ability to hold contradictory beliefs in one's mind and accept them both. Orwell understood that the real power of a regime doesn't lie in force. It lies in shaping the way people see reality. To hold two contradictory beliefs in one's mind simultaneously and accept both of them. The party's control wasn't just about limiting freedom of action. It was about controlling what people could believe, what they could trust, and what they could understand. In a world where reality itself is malleable, where facts are manipulated, truth becomes whatever those in power say it is. And in that environment, you can't even trust your own senses anymore. This is where the power truly lies, not in holding people captive, but in stripping them of their ability to know when they're being held captive. There's another brilliant mind who saw how this plays out in the modern world, Neil Postman. In his book, Amusing Ourselves to Death, Postman didn't focus on an authoritarian regime that forces people into submission through fear. He focused on how technology and entertainment gradually erode critical thinking and awareness. Postman's central thesis is that in a society overwhelmed with information, we become starved for wisdom. He wrote, "We are deluged with information, but starved for wisdom. We live in a time when we have unlimited access to news, opinions, and data, but without the tools to discern what's meaningful. We're overwhelmed by endless content that distracts us from the deeper truths of our existence. The system profits from this disconnection, feeding us shallow entertainment while we slowly forget how to engage with the world in any meaningful way. This distraction isn't just harmless. It's a calculated strategy to keep us passive and complicit in our own disempowerment." Finally, Guy Debord's The Society of the Spectacle is another critical examination of modern life. In this manifesto, Debord described how our lives have become mediated by images, spectacle, and surface-level representations. He wrote, "The spectacle is not a collection of images, it is a social relation between people that is mediated by images. What Debord saw, and what we're now living through, is the erosion of genuine human experience in favor of a mediated, image-based existence. The spectacle presents a world of appearances, of surface-level engagement that keeps us distracted and distanced from the real issues that shape our lives. We consume the spectacle, but we don't truly live it. And in this disconnect, the system doesn't have to control us directly. It simply needs to keep us watching, passively absorbing the content." These authors, Huxley, Orwell, Postman, and Debord, didn't just imagine dystopias. They described the systems that make us passive, compliant, and ultimately controlled. Through pleasure, fear, distraction, and illusion, they each revealed the mechanisms by which we are bound. They explained the nature of control in a world where the chains are invisible and the prison is designed to look like freedom. But here's the question. Who benefits from your obedience? Who profits from your passivity? And when will you stop trading your life for the illusion of comfort? You've been conditioned to accept comfort as freedom. But in truth, freedom comes with the willingness to face discomfort, to question, to challenge, and to awaken. The door has always been open, but it's not easy to walk through, because freedom costs more than convenience. It costs awareness, discomfort, conviction, but it gives you back the only thing worth having in a world like this: yourself. If you've made it this far, then you've already taken the first step toward breaking free from the endless cycle of distraction. But this isn't the end. This is just the beginning. The world isn't going to change on its own, and neither will your reality. You can't wait for someone else to free you, because that someone is you. If you found value in this video, if it made you think deeper or see the world differently, make sure to hit that like button. Share this message with someone who needs to hear it. And let's spread the truth. Because freedom isn't a privilege, it's a choice. Don't forget to subscribe to Blue Raven Thinks, where we dive deeper into the hidden truths, the unseen forces, and the systems that shape our lives, often without us even realizing. Hit the bell to stay connected, stay alert, stay questioning.